Hello, we here at the Morel Show, and I have Mr. Jalen Johnson here explaining to us childhood poverty of America, and he's basically going to break down everything that is going on in the world around us with poverty. So, Mr. Johnson, what is your thesis?
Well, my thesis is the significance of the word poverty in America infers the absence of keeping warm, having a suitable home, a healthy nutrition, and clothing for children. Well, approximately let's say about 30 million Americans today are described as living in poverty.
What are your statistics?
My statistics, well, let's say about the divorce. The divorce rate under poverty is about almost 5 times higher in the lowest income quintile, which is about 25.4%,
Wow.
than among the upper income quintile for households with children, about 5.7%, according to Gary Evans, who is a founder principal of CVR, which stands for the Commissioner Vision Results.
Okay, so what are the issues that are going on with family poverty and everything that's going on around these families that are in poverty?
Okay. Well, there are going to be 4 issues I'm going to talk about today in my interview. First of them is being family poverty. Second is about violence. Third is about separation from families. And fourth is lack of education.
Okay.
Yes.
So can you explain to us family poverty for one?
Okay. Well, like I said, family poverty, well, there are a couple of reasons under family poverty I would like to discuss. First of them is experiencing poverty. When experiencing poverty, families faces more challenges in a household when they are unable to achieve a minimum standard of being part of a society. For example, not having the basic necessities, most people are not used to having a balanced meal, a decent clothes to wear, not having hot water to take a bath or shower in, and being unable to use the internet to stay connected. Secondly, I'm going to talk about the measurement of families. Well, the average income of a family of 4 is about $22,050 a year. A year that coverages $1,800 a month to take care of all expenses. Thirdly, I'll talk about stereotype families. Well, the majority of the people believe that family poverty is caused by having a large household of children, family members using drugs, violence in the home, and family turmoil. Well, families with 1 to 3 children can cause a hardship because of the parents that causes poverty. For example, loss of job, bad health, and going through a divorce.
Okay. Can you explain to us the violence that the violence that is around the family, violence that is around everyone? How does that affect them? When they become adults. Can you explain that to us?
Yes. There are about 3 types of violences. First of them is being physical abuse, also known as low socioeconomic status. With that being said, this means that parents who come from a rough background brings up having to deal with a higher risk of doing the same with their own children. Meaning, if I was abused when I was a child, and I grew up and abused my own child, well, that pretty much says it.
It's going to be a cycle. It's just going to keep going. It won't stop.
Exactly. Okay. And for neglect is another type of violence, but under neglect, there's 3 types of neglects. First of them is being physical, second, educational, and thirdly, emotional. First of all, I'm going to talk about physical. Well, physical neglect involves a child abandonment, inadequate supervision, rejection of a child leading to expulsion, and failure to provide for a child's safety and physical needs. Secondly, educational. Educational neglects the failure of a parent or guardian to apply in a mandatory school. Mm-hmm. It can lead to the child's need to obtain basic skills, dropping out of school, or showing rude behavior.
Because they're not learning what other children their age are learning.
Exactly.
Okay.
And for emotional neglect, actions such as a child being in the presence of a spousal abuse can lead to extreme doings such as drugs and alcohol. Well, under the issue of abuse, emotional abuse, I can unpack that even more by saying that emotional abuse has different meanings, such as verbally abuse or verbally assault, which is also known as name calling or threatening. Another one is being isolated, such as prevent from social life, take away cell phone, internet connections, anything that has to do socially. And another one is being rejected, such as refusing to show affection. I hate you, I don't love you, I don't want to be with you, I don't want to see you. And terrorizing, such as extreme punishment. That's where most of the abuse comes from. Well, lastly, another type of violence is child maltreatment. Well, according to Susan Queaton, who is a member of the firm's executive management committee, she says, beatings, sexual abuse, and verbal abuse and neglect are all common when a parent isn't thinking straight. Children that grow up with an abuse addict for a parent are more likely to have poor self-image, with self-destructive behaviors, hidden fear, and greater risk of substance abuse themselves someday.
So that just breaks down what we were just talking about, how if a child isn't treated, correctly, they're going to grow up just to treat other people that way. They're going to grow up doing things that if they grew up in a different state of mind, if they grew up differently, then that stuff wouldn't have, went on with them. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you explain to us lack of education?
Okay. Well, there are about five topics I like to talk about. First of them is being child development. When I say child development, I mean not being able to go to daycare centers or having an early start in education. Being able to participate in an extracurricular activity such as sports, and having the opportunity to go on vacations and field trips with your school. Secondly, it's about child nutrition, health, and nutrition. Well, not having a proper nutrition can abuse to an unbalanced life and lead to obesity, heart failure, etc. Thirdly, is parent mental health. Well, income lost by a parent may have negative effects on the family. Not knowing how to put food on the table. Not knowing how to put food on the table and keeping the rent paid off or how to pay the bills can cause more issues for the family. And fourthly, it's about schooling. Well, not having a high education limits good opportunities for growth in the higher paid jobs. It puts you at a disadvantage with others when applying for jobs. Going on vacation such as the Bahamas or Aruba would not be affordable because of the cost. Well, not able to put their children to sports like dance class or other activities that cost extra money or private schools. And fifthly, is about the neighborhood conditions. Well, poor neighborhood conditions tend to have worse schools and fewer resources than middle and upper class neighborhoods. Yeah.
Now, after we have went through, after we have talked about the lack of education, schooling, neighborhoods, can you please explain to us solutions to fix these problems that families in poverty are facing?
Yes. Well, me and my partner, Hugh Waddington, who is a independent consultant in health and nutrition at the Independent Evaluation Group of the World Bank. Well, he stated that enable to reduce the childhood poverty in America, well, first off is to support for positive reforms to improve the poor families directly, in particular, to assist chronically poor families in breaking poverty cycles by enhancing human and physical assets. Social security programs to protect children will play a vital role in minimizing the adverse effects of economic reform and prevent families from falling more into poverty. Another solution is early childhood programs. Well, with that, early childhood programs is aimed to improve outcomes for young children and their families by offering a variety of support services such as child health and developmental assessments, early education and care, referral to community resources, and more.
So, for instance, like the Boys and Girls Club, how, kids can go there and have fun and express themselves, and that'll keep them from doing stuff, that is to the extreme or that would not help them in their future.
Right.
So, okay.
Then you learn how to interact with other children instead of being around their abusive parents all day, Yes. And I personally, I think this is my favorite because it's more effective and it's powerful.
Yes.
And this one is to invest in prevention and early intervention. Well, this means that prevention and early intervention is the main solution to the issue of poverty. Well, with these aspects, they bring development, health benefits, and education that are less expensive, but also more effective.
Okay.
Yes.
And thank you, Mr. Johnson, for coming and explaining to us the severity of childhood poverty around the world. And just thank you for breaking down the facts and giving us solutions on how to fix this. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Okay.